family mode.
Hello everybody, welcome to this Autochartist webinar. My name is Ilan Asbel. I have the privilege of presenting to you today. I am the CEO of Autochartist. Don't normally get a chance to talk to our Australian audience, but today I asked my marketing team to put me on this webinar, so I have a chance to talk to you personally. Of course, I have Yvette on the line with me.
Hi, and good evening,
Yvette,
everybody.
really heads up our marketing team. Yeah, she heads up all our basically our client liaison and marketing at Autochartist, and she's helping me out with this webinar by answering as many questions as possible. And I'm going to try and get to them towards the latter end. So it looks like we have just 2 or 3 minutes to go before we officially start, and I just want to hang on there for a few more minutes because I just see literally the counter, the attendee counter ticking up as I'm speaking. So it looks like we're going to have a nice full room today, which is absolutely fantastic. Some of our webinars we do are primarily for the European time zones and for the North American time zones, but this time we're doing it for the Australian time zone, which is fantastic. So it's nice to see such a big turnout. Wow, this really is a big room. Well done, Yvette.
Looking good, yes.
Doing a great job.
So, Ilan, I was wondering, while we're waiting for the people to just sign in, are you just going to take us through the basics, getting started? Maybe just give us a brief outline of what you're going to be showing us today.
Right, so I think today's webinar, I was given a strict briefing, which is to provide a general overview of the Autochartist platform. So we're not going to be going too far in depth into trading strategies around the tool itself, but more about how we're going to be navigating and how to navigate the tool, the different features in the tool. So we're going to focus really on features and usability rather than on specific trading strategies. However, as I know in the past, it's what always comes up are questions around trading strategies, and so I'll try to deal as much as I can with those, but certainly that's not going to be the focus of today's session itself. Wow, Yvette, it looks like people
Sounds
are
good.
still
I know, streaming in.
Should we give it another moment or two?
I think let's do that, yes.
What do you think?
I think let's give it another minute, and then you can just start when you're ready.
Wow, I cannot believe it.
I know.
I just see the numbers counting as I'm watching the screen.
It's great.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. It's amazing. People leave it till like the last second to join the room.
Yes.
It looks like my watch says we have another minute to go, so we'll give it another minute or two. And it's been jam-packed. Autochartist has gone through a bit of a facelift in the last month or so, it is really packed with features. In fact, I might even struggle to get the entire kind of run-through of the application into the 45 minutes. Yvette, do I have 45 minutes for this, including questions, or is it an hour including
we can do it an hour and then take some questions afterwards. You're not really limited to an 45 minutes specifically. We can run over. It's not a problem, Ilan. And I think we are going to run over.
Okay, all right, great. Yeah, I think so. And I think that just for the audience we already have in the room now, which is still ticking up. I'm actually a bit blown away by the attendees in this room. But is that if you do have any questions which I haven't answered today, and sometimes that happens because really we get questions just streaming through. So please feel free to drop us an email to this email address, which is support@autochartist.com, and we'll try attend to your question there, and those questions can be either about the tool itself, or even if you have any technical issues that you want resolved or anything whatsoever, we've got people standing by to answer those questions. So please feel free to email support@autochartist.com. If I don't manage to get around to your questions, it's nothing personal. It's just going to be some time constraints. Okay, so I think we should get going. What do you say, Yvette? Should we kick it off?
I think we're ready to go.
All right, let's do it. Okay. So Yvette, do you want to kick off the recording and we head? Okay, guys.
Okay.
So welcome to this webinar, which is an introduction to Autochartist. What we're going to be doing today in this webinar is to run through the general features and the usability of the Autochartist application. For those of you who have just joined, please email support@autochartist.com if you have any questions that I don't get to answer during today's session. So before we even get going, we are going to kick off with a poll. A poll question basically is just a question that you need to answer for us. It helps me as the presenter to actually gauge who my audience is. And the first poll question is how often do you use Autochartist? Yvette, do you mind giving a poll in? And basically, you may never have seen Autochartist before, or you only use it once per week or twice per week or more. If you could answer that question for me, that would be much appreciated. So it looks as though by far the majority of you have never even seen the Autochartist application, which is great. So this presentation is actually perfect for you because it'll give you a general overview of what the tool can provide you and how it can improve your trading. Great, thank you very much for that. And the next question, Yvette, if we can kick into another poll, the second poll question, which is how long have you been trading for? So wow, it looks like we've got a great balance of traders there. Quite a lot of experienced traders that have been trading for more than 5 years, and quite a few that have been trading for less than 2 years. So we've got a nice balance of people in today's audience. Fantastic, that's great. So now I kind of know who I'm speaking to. I appreciate you answering those questions for me. Okay, so what you should all be seeing right now in front of you is the Autochartist application as you see it when you launch Autochartist. So there are, of course, instructions on the Autochartist.com website about how to actually launch the Autochartist application. If you've got your MetaTrader, if you've got Autochartist in your MetaTrader, you have your MetaTrader open, there should be a custom indicator called Autochartist Web, which should be pre-built into your Autochartist application already. And this is what your MetaTrader should look like. So if you see your MetaTrader launching, let me give a moment for my screen to refresh. It doesn't look like the screen is refreshing, and I'm wondering why that is. I hope everyone can see my MetaTrader screen.
Yes, Ilan, we can see your screen, the MetaTrader.
You can?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, great. So if you can see your MetaTrader screen on the left-hand side in the custom indicator section, you will see something called Autochartist Web. If you drag and drop that onto any chart, what will happen is that you will it will launch the entire Autochartist application. So if you want to know how to get into the app, that's how you get into the application. If there's any questions about how to actually launch the app, please email support@autochartist.com. Otherwise, there are actually instructions on our website itself. Now, the primary purpose of Autochartist is really to provide you with trading opportunities. I'm going to be focusing on looking at the FX market today, and what I've got set up is a search criteria on the left-hand side here, which is a group of instruments called FX majors. If you're interested in certain specific instruments, for example, you can click on New Search, and you can click on a symbol that you actually want to search. So, for example, if you're interested in Euro USD, you can select Euro USD, and you add it to the list. And maybe you're interested in GBP USD, you can also add that onto your list. And so you can build up a list of instruments that you're actually interested in trading. And you can name that list My Custom List. And you Autochartist will allow you to actually create your own list of instruments that you're interested in. You don't have to use the predefined searches that Autochartist has got built in for you. Within your search criteria, you also have the ability to set some very advanced parameters, which for now we're actually going to leave as default for the purposes of this demonstration, because this is more an overview rather than getting really in-depth into the application itself. But you have the ability to set certain filtering criteria. For example, whether you want to see bullish or bearish, or both bullish and bearish financial instruments or trading opportunities, whether you want continuation or reversal patterns, how long you want the patterns to be. We have certain quality indicators which are available that you can set, and if we have time, I will get back to these later at a later stage. You also have the ability to select which actual trading opportunities you want to see, and Autochartist supports all the major types of trading opportunities. Ascending and descending triangles, the rising channels, the falling channels, rising wedges, falling wedges, the head and shoulders, the inverse head and shoulders, triple tops, triple bottoms. All the major types of patterns are actually supported. So if you select all the criteria that you want, and for now, as I said, I'm not really changing the defaults. I've selected Euro USD and GBP USD. Maybe let's add in GBP JPY in there, Japanese yen. Let's add that into the list, and let's actually name the list, custom list. We can create a search. And what will happen once we actually click Create Search, you'll actually get your custom list coming up on the left-hand side in the Searches panel. And you can then subsequently click on this little Edit Search icon to edit it. And while Autochartist is finding those results, there we go, which have come up now, you see all the results for the instruments that we've actually selected in our custom list. But for now, I'm going to stick to the FX majors, but at least now you know that you can create a custom list of instruments. Now, what I'm going to show you is basically the fact that the results panel, right? The results panel is at the bottom. So now we've selected FX majors in the search panel, and now we have the results panel that has come up. The results panel is basically the list of trading opportunities that exist right now for the selected instruments. So, for example, this is for all FX major pairs and cross rates. So by default, the first instrument is the first trading opportunity is selected, and it tells us this is an opportunity on the pound yen. It was identified on 15-minute data interval. It is an ascending triangle, and the date at the time it was identified. Also, the length of the pattern, which I'll get to discuss in just a moment, and how old it is, the age of this opportunity in candles. So age 0 means that 0 candles have passed since this opportunity was identified, which means that this is a brand new opportunity. So you can see that the top 4 trading opportunities in our list have right now been identified. The first one we've selected, the GBP Japanese yen, was identified on 15-minute candles, and there's a little gray arrow. Now I'll discuss this little gray arrow with you in a moment. Now it is selected, and the image for this pattern is displayed at the top. Now, what we can see very clearly, as the line item in the results panel says, this is an ascending triangle, which is basically a horizontal or very close to horizontal resistance level with a converging support level. And you can quite clearly see that this is quite a well-formed ascending triangle. And what this little gray arrow tells us is that this pattern has not yet broken through the resistance line. That means it's still trending towards the resistance level, right? That means it's trending within a comfortable region. So now this is potentially an opportunity for you to take a very short-term long position on the Japanese yen, the British pound against the Japanese yen, but there still looks like plenty of room to move. So it looks like there's about 20 pips or so to be had in this trading opportunity itself. Or what you could do, the other way of trading this type of emerging pattern, is to actually set a limit order whereby a long position would be opened for you at, let's say, above the 124.17 level. So if you don't want to take a very short-term speculative position up to the resistance level, you could actually put this almost, so to speak, on your radar of currencies to watch. And if the currency breaks 124.17, there could be an opportunity to actually go long, assuming that this very important horizontal resistance level has actually been breached. Let's look, okay, well, I think I'm talking specifically about this opportunity itself. Let me actually give you a bit of a rundown about the other sections within the Autochartist screen. This over here is the details section on the top right of the screen, where you can see some more details about this opportunity. So you can see it's the opportunity was on the forex markets, it's on pound yen, 15-minute ascending triangle, and all the same information that you see at the bottom, except for the fact that there's some additional information about the quality of the pattern. So let's talk a little bit about the quality indicators. So clarity, for example, tells us how much noise there was between touching points. So Autochartists believe that this pattern is relatively clear because there is quite a decisive move between the touching points of support and resistance, right? Which I think you would definitely agree with. There was a very distinctive move here in the beginning between the resistance and support level. Again, a very decisive move between, maybe apart from this little glitch in the middle, quite a decisive move between support and resistance again, and then again a sharp downward movement towards the support level, and now a bounce up. So Autochartist believes that this is a relatively clear pattern. Uniformity refers to how uniform the touching points are between each other, so in terms of time. So it looks like this is the distance between the first touching point and the second touching point, and this distance here between the second and the third touching point is maybe not 100% in proportion, but not too bad. But then there's this last touching point over here is maybe quite short in relation to the other two distances between the other two touching points. So Autochartist gives this quite a mediocre score in terms of the uniformity of the pattern. The next quality indicator is the initial trend indicator. Okay, the initial trend indicator basically tells us how strong the initial trend was prior to the formation of the pattern. So that means that you can see this initial trend wasn't very strong. If this initial trend came from down here somewhere on the bottom left of the chart, there'll be a much stronger indication of the initial trend of the pattern. So Autochartist hasn't rated this pattern very highly in terms of initial trend. And the overall quality, which is the same value that you see on the bottom of the screen over here, that is just an arithmetic average of all the other quality indicators. Now, let me discuss one more section in the Autochartist screen with you, which is this results filter you see over here, which lets you actually filter by the type of trading opportunity that you want to see. So for the next 2 moments, I'm going to disable all the different trading opportunities other than completed chart patterns, of which we only have 2 available to us right now, right? So both of these are actually tradable right now, and the term that we provide in Autochartist in relation to that is relevance. Okay, so really what we're saying is that we believe that these opportunities are still relevant in the marketplace right now and can be traded. So let's look at this first opportunity, which is US dollar Swiss franc. We see that this opportunity is 14 candles old. You see it on the bottom right. So it is slightly old, and the way that's displayed in Autochartist is the fact that there was a breakout through a support level. Autochartist gave a forecast that it thought that the US dollar Swiss franc was going to move to 0.9436. However, it turned around again, but it looks like it's once again heading towards 0.9525. So Autochartist believe that this opportunity is still tradable, and it could be an opportunity to go short on US dollar Swiss franc down to 0.9436. Now you'll see one major difference between the image I showed you before on the on the pound yen and this image is the fact that a forecast region is provided here. Autochartist provides a forecast region for what we call completed patterns. Completed meaning they have actually broken through a support or resistance level. If you recall the opportunity we had before, and I'm just going to switch back to that now. If you just give Autochartist a moment to load. I hope you see that on your screen now. Sometimes it takes a while to propagate through, but there is no breakout on this pound yen opportunity that we've seen over here. There's no breakout, therefore there's no forecast region. Okay, but in this opportunity for US dollar Swiss franc, there has been a breakout, and so this is why an opportunity, a forecast region is actually provided. The other major difference you'll see is actually the fact that there is actually not a gray arrow, but a red arrow that points downwards. Right? A red arrow or a green arrow means that there has been a breakout. So now let's move on a bit, and let me show you another type of chart pattern that we get, or another type of opportunity we get at Autochartist, which is key levels. Key levels are almost the same as chart patterns. Just a slight difference is that the fact that we're only looking at horizontal support and resistance, right? So we're not looking at entire chart patterns where there's support or resistance. We're just looking at horizontal resistance or horizontal support. Now we can see another opportunity on GBP JPY, right, on pound yen, which is in fact very, very similar to the previous one we saw in terms of an ascending triangle, and that makes sense. That Autochartist has identified a very, very strong resistance level at the level of 124.11, and what we see here is the fact that Autochartist once again tells us that this is an emerging pattern, right? Emerging because it's a little gray arrow on 30-minute candles. And Autochartist believes that GBP JPY is actually moving towards the 124.11 level, which is actually exactly in line with the chart pattern that we were looking at before. So this is quite an interesting opportunity that you have both a resistance level and a chart pattern both pointing towards the same level in the market. Once again, this is either an opportunity to actually trade long right now up to the resistance level of 124.11, or it's an opportunity for you to take a position in the future at 124.22. So if you, for example, want to wait for it a bit, you think this is a very short-term move up to 124.11, the market may have moved already, let me wait to see if there's a breakout. And if there's actually a breakout through 124.11, I'll actually take a long position, you know, assuming that the trend is going to continue. Similarly speaking, Autochartist provides completed key levels, right, which is actually tells us by either a solid red or a solid green candle that there has actually been a breakout through a support resistance level. So if we look at this opportunity that we have on our screen at the moment, which is US dollar Swiss franc, this is a pattern which is identified on 15-minute candles. It's a support level, right, and we can see the aging candles. It's 3 candles old. And we can see that on the screen by a few little transparent candles that Autochartist has drawn in subsequent to the breakout. So about an hour or so ago, 45 minutes ago, Autochartist identified that breakout through support for the US dollar Swiss franc at 0.9592 and provided a forecast level of 0.9568. The price has subsequently pulled back a few pips, but certainly hanging around this level. This could be a very interesting position to take right now, short down to 0.9568, of course. But this is a 15-minute candle, so it's a very short-term opportunity. Let me see if there's any longer-term opportunities that we can look at right now available on Forex Market. Not much at the moment. We've got some slightly older USD Japanese yen opportunities happening right now on 60-minute candles. Let's have a look, see what that looks like. I'm breaking the cardinal rule of a demonstration, which is never click on something you've never clicked on before. But let's actually see what that looks like right now. Let's give that a moment to come up. Okay, so this is quite interesting. Now what I'm going to do, because this is quite a long pattern, right? This pattern was formed over 250 candles. I'm going to click on that pattern to zoom into it, so we can actually get a little bit more detail on our screen. So we'll just give Autochartist a moment just to load that up. Now what you can see is that we can see very distinctly where Autochartist actually identified this opportunity. It identified it at 79.63, and it said it was going to move towards 79.76. And it was right for Autochartist seemed to be correct for the first kind of 24 hours of movement or so, and subsequently the pattern has moved away slightly, although I certainly think it hasn't moved away from its general trend towards 79.76. This is still potentially a good trading opportunity on the US dollar Japanese yen up to 79.76. Or you could take another view and say, you know what, it got close enough. I think it's turning around and it's going to be a failed breakout, and I can go short on this. Really your view. And I think the point of Autochartist is quite clear. We don't try to provide you with buy, sell signals. Autochartist provides you with opportunities that you can look at further. So for example, when you're looking at trading opportunities such as emerging patterns, you may look at combining it with instruments such as an RSI, or a stochastic indicator, if you are a mean reversion type of a person, right? If you think it's gone up high enough and you think it's going to revert. If you're a trend trader, you could combine Autochartist with a moving average, right? Or any other trending type of indicator, so to almost confirm breakouts, right? So if you look at, for example, this US dollar Swiss franc opportunity we were looking at before, you could combine this with a moving average. And the moving average would almost certainly, almost any moving average over the length of 20 or 30 would confirm a breakout through the support level. So always very, very important, include other indicators into whatever you're doing with Autochartist. Don't use Autochartist on its own. Okay, so let me add all these opportunities back again. And of course, if you want more space on your screen, you can actually just click on this little results filter icon or wording, and then Autochartist gives you the ability to make the screen bigger or smaller. Now, there is one other tab which I need to show you, a little section in Autochartist, which is called the Expired Trading Opportunity section. And this section provides you some historical patterns that we've identified, right? So these Autochartist believes are no longer tradable. They're there simply for your reference of what happened in the recent past. Okay, so if you want to look at what trading opportunities exist right now, you need to be looking at the active trading opportunities tab in this section over here. Right, expired is simply for your reference of what has happened in the recent past. Right. So the next thing I want to show you is this little section, this little button over here called View Analysis. This is a product that we call Powerstats. Let me click on that button and wait for that screen to come up on all of your screens. The second most asked question at Autochartist by our customers is, well, the first question is, what should I be trading right now? Which I think I've just answered right in our trading opportunity section. The second most asked question is, once I've traded, whether it's on Autochartist or not, where should I be setting my stop losses and take profits? Now, what we find, certainly with many of the less experienced traders, is that people set unrealistic expectations with regards to how much money they're going to win or how much money they're going to lose on a certain trade. So you get a person trading, let's say for this example that we're looking at right now, pound yen, and think, oh, on this trade I'm going to be making 200 pips. But really, in reality, to make 200 or 300 pips on a trade, you'll be looking at holding the position for such a long time. You're incurring swap. You're incurring the potential for a lot of downside in terms of your drawdown. And really, one of the most important things to remember in trading is to set appropriate take profit and stop loss levels. In fact, certain very experienced traders even hold the view that it's not even important when you enter the market, but rather how you enter the market, right? So enter the market at random, but know when to exit, which is quite an interesting view. I don't really agree with that view, but I think entry is very important. But I do agree that the exit is very, very important. So what we have here, the Power Stats product gives us quite interesting information. If you're trading pound yen, whether you're using Autochartist or any other tool, and you want to set some take profit and stop loss levels, Autochartist provides an indication of where it thinks the price is going to be within the next 15 minutes, 30 minutes, hour, 4 hours, and 24 hours, right? So if you want to set a stop loss and you think, look, I think I'm going to be holding this position for the next kind of half a day or so, that's how, or a day, then you can set your stop losses and take profits within that range of 123.12 and 124.09. And if you set it outside of those ranges, chances are you're going to be holding your position for longer than 24 hours. Right? So the way the statistic is actually derived is by looking at the last 6 months worth of price movement on this specific day at this specific time, and actually projecting the volatility forward. So I see that I'm actually set on American New York time. If you set your Autochartist to be at Australia, Sydney, or whatever time zone you're actually in, you will actually get this expected price range for the time zone that you're actually trading in. Right? So I happen to be in New York time at the moment. So it's around 5 o'clock in the morning there in New York. So So if I only want to hold my position, a very short-term position for the next hour or so, I know that I should be setting my take profit and stop loss somewhere in the region of 124.24 or 123.77, quite a narrow range. The next interesting bit of information that Power Stats provide you is what we call the movement per hour of day. Now, what this gives you is a breakdown of the expected volatility over a 24-hour period. So we can see quite clearly that a pound yen trades very heavily between, again, I am in New York time, so between 4 a.m. New York and 10 a.m. New York. Okay, so actually, precisely now, we're actually hitting the very, very volatile time for pound yen. So if you're the kind of trader that likes to take short-term speculative opportunities, you're slap bang exactly in the kind of time zone right now that you need to be trading this instrument. If you are a trader who's less keen on looking at very risky volatile movements, then what you should be doing is you should be waiting until the end of this period and trading from 12 o'clock New York time. I'm not quite sure what time that is in Australia, but in about 5-6 hours from now. So really what you should be doing is look at Power Stats to actually guide you in terms of the time of day you should be trading different types of instruments and how much volatility to expect. And also, this is very important within your stop loss and take profit levels. Make sure you set appropriate stop loss and take profit levels based on the volatility in the market, right? If you're trading during volatile hours, you're going to have to give your trade more room to move. If you're trading during less volatile hours, you can set your trailing stop, your stop losses tighter because you know the market's not going to be that volatile and you're not going to be knocked out with the first big movement, right? So keep that in mind. There's also an interesting graph which is movement per hour of the day, which is the last little tab on the Power Stats section. This is less interesting for pairs like pound yen because much of the trade and the volatility for every day of the week is the same. But it becomes very interesting for more exotic pairs. If you're looking at trading, US dollar, Mexican peso, or South African rand, or something exotic, what you'll see is that the double swap or the triple swap days, such as a Wednesday or a Thursday, makes a big movement to the volatility of that instrument for that day. And That's because you'll see on many of the exotic pairs there is a big differential in terms of the interest rates, right? So the swap makes a big difference, and people want to be in and out of the market, in and out of those currency pairs, specifically to earn the swap on those currencies. So you see a lot of movement for double or triple swap days for the exotic currency pairs. Right. So before I move on to looking at MetaTrader and how this whole thing integrates with MetaTrader, I want to quickly run through two other sections in Autochartist. On the top right-hand side, you'll see there's a resources and education section. If you click on resources and education, you will come up with a page with all our help material, right? So there is a quick tour of the application, which is actually I think it's a 3-minute version of the hour-long presentation I'm giving you right now. There's a daily market watch, which is actually one of our analysts out of Chicago providing his view on the market for that day. Very interesting to watch. There's some introductory videos about all different features of Autochartist. There are some news articles, and we provide FX commentary on the FX market on a daily basis. We have some ebooks, downloads, user manuals, and some reference material. So right now this material is in English, but we are looking at translating it into a few other languages, but that's obviously, as you may appreciate, a very long process, but that's in the process of happening as we speak. So this is a very interesting section for you. Please visit it. It gives you all the information you need. There's downloads for your MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5, lots of different downloads, and the user manual. The next section that I want to show you is something called performance statistics. So I'm going to click on the performance statistics button, and this is possibly the third most commonly asked questions at Autochartist, which is how well does Autochartist do in terms of its forecasts in the market? Yvette, I see that my screen is not refreshing on your side. Is it actually refreshing? I'm concerned that people are not seeing my screen correctly.
No, I can see the performance statistics. So on my side, it's refreshed.
Oh, great. Okay, great. I was just looking at my little software here, my webinar software, and it wasn't showing that refreshing. Okay, great. So you can actually see my screen. Okay, I'm glad. All right. So now what we have in the performance statistics section is how well Autochartist has done in forecasting movements in the market. We try to have complete transparency at Autochartist with regards to how well we perform, and what we do, the way we measure performance is not through a trading system, not how many dollars and cents you've won or lost. We simply measure how often we hit our forecast level. Okay, so in front of you, you see performance statistics for many different markets. You may not see all these statistics in your platform, but only the statistics for the instruments that your broker provides. So I'm going to be looking at just the Forex statistics over here very, very briefly. Okay, so we've got 3 types of statistics. For completed chart patterns, those are the chart patterns with a solid red or green arrow, right, that we provide a forecast region for. The completed key levels and the approaching key levels. So if you click on the view button for the performance statistics for the Forex market, we give that a moment to load up. Okay, and when it loads up, you'll see an explanation of how the statistics are derived and some very, very, very basic stats at the top, which is over the past 6 months or so, we've identified 1,800 completed chart patterns, of which 1,215 hit their forecast region. That's a 67% hit rate in the Forex market right now for completed chart patterns. And what you can do, though, is you can actually scroll down and actually see a breakdown of which patterns were the best performing patterns, which symbols, on which instruments were the best performing symbols, right? So although you might be at 67%, there are certain patterns, for example, head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders, which are great performance, over 81%, 85% hit rate, right? And many of the instruments are well over 70%. Okay, so I encourage you to look at these performance stats and actually use them before you actually place a trade to see how well has this actually performed in the past. Or what you could do is, for example, look at the performance stats initially and set up search criteria, as I did in the very first part of this presentation, to actually set up search criteria just for the instruments that you believe are the highest and best performing within Autochartist. But again, we're not hiding anything at Autochartist. We're completely transparent, right? So please go ahead and look at these performance stats, and if you have any questions about how they're derived, just ask us. I'll also look at, for example, the key levels breakouts, right? So the completed horizontal support resistance levels, how well they have done in the markets. So I'm just clicking on that just to have a look, see what the stats are looking like over there. So let's give that a moment to come up. I'm not quite sure why this is taking so long on my computer. Maybe my internet is a little slow. Let's just give it a moment.
Ilan?
Yes.
So while we're busy waiting for your internet to just, or your page to refresh, we're getting a few questions where the customers are saying they cannot see the performance stats tab as yet. I've just spoken to Quibus, and it may be that the Go Markets customers, their platform still needs to be updated, so their tab will probably be available in the next week or so, just so that they know, and that you know, yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right.
Thanks, Yvette. Okay, so yes, so the performance stats is actually something we've had running on our own internal systems for actually a year or two, but we've only made it publicly available in the last few weeks. So I apologize if I assume that your platform already had it. If it doesn't have it, it will be there in the next week or two. But please check Autochartist again. We do have the stats in our back office systems. So if you don't have the stats as yet on your platform, please send us an email to support@autochartist.com, and we will send you links that go directly to the performance stats outside of the application. So just to fill the gap until this tab is actually enabled in your Autochartist platform. So apologies for that assumption. So this is performance stats for the breakout key levels, right? So once a completed key level is broken through, we're currently looking at about 66% hit rate over the last 6 months or so. And we can look at the best performing instruments and patterns for completed key levels. We can also look at the approaching key levels, right? So approaching key levels are basically the how well Autochartist has forecast that a price is going to hit one of the support or resistance levels, right? So if you remember the pound-yen example we looked at before, which was approaching a horizontal support level, horizontal resistance level. So these statistics describe those kind of instances. So let's see what that looks like. So it looks like those stats are even higher. So we've identified about, in the last 6 or 7 months, 15,000 of those opportunities, of which 11,000 were correct. That's a really important statistics, a quantity. That's a 70% hit rate for approaching key levels. So what does that tell me? That tells me that although despite the fact that in the last few weeks we've had a hugely trending market, in the last 6 months we've had very much a sideways market, a non-trending market, which means that people that were not trend traders but rather swing traders, people trading between the lines, between support resistance, would have done quite well for themselves because the market has been moving sideways. Okay, let me close that up. And I'm going to do 2 minutes on MetaTrader. So let me quickly switch to MetaTrader and show you what Autochartist looks like inside the MetaTrader platform. So of course, well, let me give that a minute to load up. It looks like my entire screen has to reload. So on MetaTrader, you would see on the custom the custom indicator section on the left-hand side, you'd see some Autochartist indicators. So the first one I was showing you was Autochartist Web. If you drag and drop that onto your chart, then what would happen is that the Autochartist, the web application that we just ran through now, would show. But what I want to show you is, for example, some of these, the chart patterns and key levels and power stats indicators. If you drag and drop a chart patterns indicator on here, make sure you allow DLL imports. You also have a whole variety of inputs you can set. I like to set this section called Show Emerging. I like to set that to true because I like to see emerging patterns as well. And I push OK. And what will happen is that you'll see on the top left-hand side, the Autochartist plugin authenticates and connects to our servers. And if you give it a moment, we should see that all the trend lines for the chart that we're currently looking at automatically display on the chart. So we're looking at Euro USD 4-hour chart, and let's give that a moment. And now you see all the Autochartist trend lines already displayed on your MetaTrader, right? So this is quite nice because normally people have to draw trend lines by themselves, right, manually. And so now this is obviously not the case with Autochartist. Autochartist draws them for you automatically. Now this is a very interesting situation right now on Euro USD. This is a 4-hour chart. And what Autochartist has identified, as you can see here, the green and the blue line, this is a very, very new pattern right now that has been identified, and it looks like it's an emerging pattern. So Autochartist has identified this, and potentially there's a potential move up to this resistance levels for Euro USD. So let me try and draw that in as a pen on the screen. So potentially there's a move up in that direction, which is quite interesting now. So it's not a short-term move. Remember, these are 4-hour candles. So it could take the next 24 hours or so to come up. But we can also see that there's a support level that's tending upwards and the resistance level tending upwards. So there's also a channel forming upwards. So we may look at a very short-term bullish run on Euro USD. It may or may not. You know, obviously it all depends what happens. There's a lot of fundamentals at play as well. But I think it's certainly a very interesting situation. It's certainly a big hot topic right now in the forex market. Let me also show you one other thing in terms of the Autochartist application. So we'll look at we'll just drag the power stats button onto there, the power stats indicator. So we drag and drop power stats. Remember to allow DLL imports. We'll push OK, and we'll give Autochartist a minute to fetch the power stats information. Remember, power stats is the tool that allows you to set appropriate stop loss and take profit levels. So we'll give that a moment to load up. And now what you're going to see, let me just check if it's actually making that request. Right, so now what you see is you should see some lines, blue lines, coming up in the application. Right? So now Autochartist has drawn for you the trading range that it thinks that the euro dollar is going to trade within the next 4 hours and 24 hours. So as you can see, just as I said before, if you're looking at taking a long position on Euro USD up to this resistance level, it could only play out in the next 24 hours, right? So it's not a short-term position that you're looking at taking there. Okay? So keep that in mind. So this is a very interesting tool. Please use this Power Stats tool to help you set appropriate stop loss and take profit levels. And now, of course, with MetaTrader, if you keep this chart running, the Autochartist will automatically actually draw the support resistance lines for you as your chart develops. And obviously that will happen more frequently if you're looking at 15-minute charts. Good. Let me switch back to my Autochartist screen. And Yvette, I've been so busy talking, I haven't even looked at the question section. Are there any specific questions that you want to
You know what, Ilan,
while
you were
answer
talking
right now? Because I haven't even looked at that section.
Great. I've actually answered most of the questions and sent some links through in that. But, you know, everybody's welcome to still mail us at support and we'll get to them there. But for now, there's really nothing outstanding for you to answer. So I don't know if you want to wrap up, take us through something else.
Okay, so nothing that specifically that quite a few people asked for. I see some installation instruction questions.
Yes.
Are there, have you answered those installation
I
instructions?
have indeed, yes.
Okay, that's great. Okay, I see the request to show some Fibonacci patterns. Okay, so let me actually show one or two Fibonacci patterns. Just to see, let's just see if I have any Fibonacci patterns which are active on the platform right now as we speak. So there are some emerging Fibonacci patterns. So let's quickly see. So what I've done here now is I've gone back to my FX Major search, and what I've done is I've just selected Fibonacci patterns, so we can look at some examples of Fib patterns. Now, I don't have any completed Fib patterns at the moment, so you can see here it says completed 0, but there should be 8 emerging Fibonacci patterns happening right now. So let's try and choose a Fibonacci pattern. I've just got a few minutes. Okay, right. So let's just have a look at this. So Autochartist has identified what we call an emerging ABCD pattern, right? So there's been an A, a B, and a C point. I think the line may be slightly misdrawn. But then there's a little purple point that Autochartist gives you. So now what Autochartist is saying is, if the price moves towards this level, which is a 1.023 Canadian dollar, right? US dollar against Canadian dollar, then this would be a completed ABCD pattern, and then there's a high likelihood of a pullback back to one of the Fibonacci levels, right? So why is this an emerging Fibonacci? This is emerging Fibonacci because it's still in the process of forming, right? The price has to get to this 1.023 level to complete the ABCD pattern and then potentially turn around to these Fibonacci levels. Let's look at another one, US dollar, Japanese yen, which is an emerging butterfly pattern. Okay, we'll give that a moment to open up. Wow, okay, so that was very interesting. So what happened is that Autochartist identified this quite a few candles ago, 13 candles ago, of 60 minutes, so that's basically 13 hours ago. Autochartist identified this opportunity, and it identified this opportunity at this little gray dotted line. And now, subsequently, and it said if the price reaches 79.89, the butterfly pattern would be complete. So you can see that the price was actually moving towards that level, right? But actually never reached it. So it looks like the price is actually turning around prior to hitting that level. So this butterfly pattern has not actually completed unless there's a dramatic shift in the way the dollar is performing against the yen, and it moves up to 79.89. But I think the point I'm trying to put across is what it means to have an emerging Fibonacci level. And certainly, if at the point of time when Autochartist identified this opportunity, you took a long position in the hopes it would go to 79.89, there would have been plenty of money to be made there, 30, 40 pips just on that movement itself. So again, quite an interesting opportunity. I hope I've answered the question with regarding to showing a Fibonacci pattern. Yvette, I think I'm pretty much done. Should we close it up? Is this video going to be available, a recorded version of this video? Is it going to be available soon?
Yes, definitely. Thanks very much, Ilan. We're definitely going to have a recording available. The audience members can either mail me directly or their brokers, and we'll provide a link in the next 2 days, you know. And I think that's about it.
Great. And please, if you want installation instructions for the MetaTrader plugins or any questions whatsoever, technical in nature or trading in nature, please email support@autochartist.com, and we'll be happy to answer all your questions. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to present to you. I look forward to presenting to you in the future, maybe in more advanced topics in using Autochartist.